Welcome to the Recovery Roundtable Podcast, where the journey to sobriety opens up through powerful discussions and shared experiences. Join your host, Mark, who will bring you stories of triumph and resilience from the heart of Pacific Shores recovery. Every episode offers insights and support, guiding you through the challenges of addiction recovery. Thank you for joining our community. If you're ready to start or continue your recovery journey, we're here to inspire and support you. Let's explore recovery together.
Do you realize you're the first guest?
Okay, that's good.
Like you are actually making this a reality, and one of the reasons why I wanted to get to chat with you is your story. Your story's huge. When did I first meet you? Was it
2008, December of 2018.
So 2018.
Yes,
so
sir.
18, 19, 20, 22, 23. I've known you for 6 years.
I guess so.
5 years.
Yeah.
If we're going December. So I remember when you came in. Why don't you go ahead and start with what originally brought you in to the center, what life was like, what you were going through?
Life started to get pretty dark. We tend to want to, try some things out when we're younger, and sometimes we don't realize what we're getting ourselves into. And by the time we do realize, the magnitude of it is just overwhelming. And before you know it, 5, 10, in my case, 15, 20 years passes by, and you're trying to get yourself out of a nightmare, out of a paralyzed state of living, where, you've basically ruined every relationship and every ability to trust and believe, in the good things that life used to be, So for me, it was just a complete nightmare, trying to get back to reality and have relationships and communication with people and just get away from the isolation and, be able to trust and love again, because that's what ultimately life's about, being able to, have connections with people and some love in your life, which is what I found in the very first time I came to Pacific Shores, which is why I resurfaced here until we were able to get it right,
Well, and that's one of the things too is, so you've kind of had this unique case where you kind of went in and out, and this is where a lot of people don't talk about this stuff. This is where there was success and failure, and the reason why you actually stand out is in 2018. Do you remember what you told me?
Absolutely, I wanted to work here someday.
First of all, I'm surprised you remember that, because a lot of people say that, but it is rare that a person will continue to follow up. So the cool thing is you actually work here now.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. But some of the stuff that my goal of putting this together is to actually create something that talks about stuff that maybe other people won't talk about. Like a lot of people, especially in the industry, it's kind of like hush or different things. One of the questions I get all the time is, does this work? And I know in your case, you were kind of in and out, and it became this pattern.
Right.
So tell me what that was like, and kind of what was going through your head, because that happens to a lot of people that attempt treatment if they don't get it the first time.
I think one of the biggest mistakes we make in coming to treatment is not having an actual plan. We talk about having a plan for when you leave, an exit plan, and I think that's one of the biggest things that I was failing to do. The facility here at Pacific Shores offers everything that you need to be able to grow and to move forward in your life and to create connections and bonds, especially with the therapists, with the case managers, with just the love and support that's here. But if we're not doing the necessary things, and going above and beyond, just going to group, that's not enough. I mean, we have enough. You guys give us enough opportunities to be able to, do more, what I'm saying? And so if we're not in meetings and getting a sponsor and trying to work some steps and doing those extra things, just showing up to group, that's not gonna do it, And
so in the beginning, was that kind of the mindset? I want to kind of break down what the thinking was of first time you were here when it didn't really seem to work. And I mean, one of the questions is, were you all in, or was there a part of you that was resistant in the beginning? Like kind of walk us through that.
I feel like I was in, but not until recently was I all the way. Not until recently did I actually decide to turn my life over to the Lord and try to build a relationship with God. I remember because we have girls from Northeast of the Well who come in on Tuesdays. I remember they came in this last time, and I remember just breaking down, emotionally, because it was the first time in my life that I actually got to the point where I was ready to die, and that's something that I've never felt before. You know, I just my experience in my journey is unfortunately one that needed a lot of pain and not a lot of trial, and it's you know, it's I was brought to my knees this last time in a different type of way, which just allowed me to, you know, do whatever was necessary to take the direction of, you know, the counselors and the therapists and yourself, which I used to do, but I always try to, you know, implement my own little ways, because I think I know it all. I think I'm, you know, so much different than everybody else, you know.
It's like having the recipe from like a world-renowned chef and be like, I'm gonna add a few things just to make it even better, and it's kind of like, ah, crap.
Yeah, always a disaster.
You said something that just really resonated with me, and I'm sure it will with the people watching this, is I had to be ready to die in order to learn how to live.
Absolutely.
Can you elaborate on that? Because that's pretty deep.
You know, when your addiction and your journey takes you to the deepest and darkest places, to where you're so paralyzed by life, you know, and everything around it, you feel like you have no resources, no way out, nobody in your corner. It's like, and you're actually walking around, you know, ready to die, you know. I mean, I've been shot 3 different times and stabbed, you know. My addiction has taken me to some dark places, you know, due to which all of those things could have been avoided if I wasn't using, you know, drugs and alcohol. But, you know, it was just a different place this last time.
I was going to say, because you just mentioned what could have led to physical death.
Right.
But that, I'm sensing, is different from a spiritual death.
That's worse, yeah. Absolutely, 100%.
Because when you said you got shot 3 different times and stabbed, and that wasn't enough to want to prompt the change to live differently?
It was for short periods of time, you know. It was for short periods of time. But, I also remember, you know, a couple of times after being shot, I was out there doing the same thing 2 days later, you know. This addiction doesn't care about, you know, it just doesn't care, you know. There comes a point, I believe, in everybody's life where you really have to just internally be ready to just want to change. You have to, you know that, you know, if I do not change, you know, and grow up and try to, you know, do things different to have a life, then I won't ever have a life. You know, I have a son, I have a family, I was raised the right way. I have the most wonderful parents in the world still in my life today. They give me the shirt off their back, and I have a responsibility as a, you know, as a Native American to give back in ways that I can, you know, for, you know, the benefits I have in life, and for the I mean, this life is too precious, man, and this recovery journey is such a beautiful thing, because you can go from just being the person that's counted out, you know, the lost cause, you know, he's never going to get it, he's crazy, and then, you know, you could be changing lives for people, you know, reaching people in ways that others can't. You know, it's important for me, you know, especially, you know, being able to work here now today is just such a blessing for me, because I want those clients to have the same, you know, feeling that I had when I used to come here, that same love and that same comfort, and, you know, let them know that, hey, they can be all right, things can be all right. It does not matter what has happened, you know, before. It's all about what we do from this point forward, and, you know, I mean, that's the most important thing.
So part of your story is, it sounds like a lot of people did give up because of this pattern that happened. Are you willing to kind of share about that and go down that road?
Of course. I mean, how would you not be ready to give up on somebody? I mean, when a person continues to, you know, do the same thing over and over for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, how do you not give up, you know? Mm-hmm. I mean, the only ones who truly hung on, you know, was, you know, my mom and my dad, you know, and my son. If it wasn't for my son, Carter, you know, I you know, obviously in the Lord, I don't think I'd be here today, because that was always in the back of my head, like, you know I had to be there for my son. I always felt like I would get my life together at some point for my son, because I always felt like I was that strong and that it was going to happen. But then you start to doubt yourself, because years go by and he's getting older. It used to be, I'll have my life together when he's 5. I'll have my life together when he's 10. You know, he's 14 now. You know, I'm just grateful and blessed, you know, to have had him be so supportive all his time and be such a strong, you know, young man. And his mother's done such a great job with him, and his grandparents, you know, my parents have just been amazing. And they deserve to see the best of me, and that's what I'm trying to do today. You know, heavy God consciousness, you know, throughout my day. Hit my knees at night and thank Him for my life today, just my sanity, and the people in my life, because it's all about the people we keep in our lives. You know, for me, I had to change every single thing. The type of music that I listen to, the people I keep around me, the whole day. You know, because if I don't, you know, and if I stray away from that, we can very easily be redoing this thing again. And I don't want that. It's been too much of that, too much pain, too much. And I mean, a person can only get up so many times. I mean, you know, I feel like I'm at my limit with that, and I don't want to have to go through it again.
Yeah. You mind kind of sharing a little bit about the relationship with your son, because you brought it up a lot of times over the last 5 years because I've heard people say like oh, I really want it, and a lot of people that don't understand addiction kind of have this mindset of like, well, if you really wanted it more, then you'd be there, and it's kind of like I'd like to visit that of how that has been.
I mean, it's a tough thing to sit there and to actually admit that you haven't been a good father, you know, because I could say that, oh, my son is my world, and, you know, he's everything to me, but in actuality, no, it hasn't been, you know. And I needed to set that aside for, you know, a period of time and actually work on myself, you know, truly work on myself, and, you know, and deal with some of the trauma and some of the, you know, abuse and different things that I've dealt with, you know, in my life, to be able to be a better person and a better father, you know, and so I could be there, you know. The reality is, you know, I haven't been a good dad, obviously. I've been absent in his life, you know. The biggest blessing for me is my son's loving, huge heart, you know, and he's so amazing. I'm his hero still, you know, and I take pride in that today, you know. The most important thing for me is to just be able to be present in his life from here on out, and support him in everything that he does, and so that's what I try to do. That's the most important thing, and anything less than that is not good enough at this point. But yeah, it's difficult when you come into recovery. You know, a lot of people come in and say they're doing this for the kids and this and that. Yeah, and that's great, but it's
you hear that often.
Yeah. And I kind of, it's hard to hear sometimes, because it's like, you know.
I've been there, okay.
Yeah.
So well, actually, I want to get there in just a moment, but one thing, what do you think led you to be able to own that truth? Because a lot of the times, you know, one of the biggest things that we go over here is to stop lying, start telling the truth, but to own the truth of, crap, I've not been a good parent, because a lot of people will stuff that and push it down, as opposed to become aware, actually own it, to then make the change.
Yeah, you know, I used to get angry with people when they would insinuate something like that to me, you know, but the more you grow up and the more you realize and just internalize the reality of the situation, you know, I mean, it's not too hard to see the truth in that, you know, and the more you hear it out of other people's mouths, you know, it's like, man, that's what I say too, but when they're saying it, I kind of feel like it's kind of bullshit, but, you know, maybe I'm full of shit too then when I say that.
Well, we all are in certain aspects at times. Was there an incident or something where you were able to own it without that reactionary that all of us parents have? Or did it just come from, like, I'm curious how you got to that point, because that was a huge point for you.
I think how I got to the point where I'm at today is when I decided to truly turn my life over to the Lord and to trust in the Lord, you know. And that's been the biggest difference maker for me this time around. You know, I remember coming into treatment the last time saying that if the difference isn't me building a relationship with the Lord, then I'm in trouble, and I don't know if I'm going to be all right in this life. You know, because it's the only thing that I didn't truly try, you know. And so going to church on Sunday mornings, you know, for the most part, on a weekly basis, going over to northeast of the well, St. Andrews, with the, you know, for the fellowship on Monday nights, for, you know, for the bread breaking in the service, you know, those things were huge for me. And, you know, hitting my knees every single night and thanking the Lord for my life today is the least I can do, you know, the least I could do. You know, how can I not thank Him for allowing me to be of sound mind and body today? To have gotten through all the near-death experiences, to still have my sanity, still be able to walk and talk and interact and reach people and help people, and still have my son there with open arms and love in his heart, you know, for me, and just rooting me on, you know. My family still in my corner, still alive, you know. I mean, that's been the difference maker, you know. I mean, and I'm still working on my relationship with the Lord. It's something that needs work on a daily basis. I mean, how do we have a relationship if we don't work on it? And I fall short in that, you know. And so everything is still a work in progress. But I feel great with where we're at today. I couldn't be more happier than to be on board here at Pacific Shores working. I mean, I always used to say, if they would just give me a job here, I mean, it would be all right. You know, I'd be all right. I'd be all right. Well, that's used to blame you guys when I wouldn't get the job.
I remember. We said, Colton, you got to get sober and actually do it for some time.
Right.
But so for the first year or two, I don't remember any conversation of God with you. And this is a triggering part for a lot of people. We have a lot of people that come through the program that are atheists, that don't go the God route, and hearing your background of all the stuff that you've gone through, what led you to being open to this complete different method?
Well, for all the things that have happened in my life, I never actually, it's almost just going. I never actually took the time to sit and think about the things that have actually transpired in my life. I really never have done that. Even till this day, like I've only done that a handful of times because I think I try to just forget about most of the past and move forward. One of them things, but sitting down and actually realizing and looking at the different things that happened in my life, there's many different things that have occurred in my life, and I could very easily not be here today. You hear that a lot of times out of people, but literally, like, he's been watching over me. I feel like even in my darkest times, even in our darkest times, like, the Lord knows your heart, and I know that I've always had a big heart, and I've always been a caring person, and I've always meant well, in my addiction, that's our addiction, and yeah, we're responsible for our actions and our addictions, but it's other elements that work at those times. But I think the Lord's always known the type of person I am, the type of heart I have, and what I wanted to do and what I tended to do in this life, so.
What led to you giving the higher power a name, a God, Jesus, the Lord?
Well, I've always been a believer in God.
Okay.
So
you were raised this way.
Yeah. I just.
Then what do you think changed of the first several years of trying to get it and then finally surrendering to God?
When I realized that I couldn't fully do it on my own, I was trying it my own way, trying things my own way, just trying to do what is asked of me, but ultimately still trying to do things my own way. My own way doesn't work. Like, I can get through a nice program, 6 months, 8 months, and everything could be fine, and but it hasn't been enough for me. It's like I said, I had to turn to that. I had to put my trust in the Lord that He was going to be the difference maker, and that would be the difference maker. And I was fearful that if it wasn't, things weren't going to be okay. So just trying to establish that relationship early on this last time here, and try to build it in whatever ways, even if it's just reading 5-10 minutes a night, making sure I get to service. I feel like that's ultimately been the difference maker. I mean, because it's just heavy on my heart all day long. I have a difficult time telling people no. I have a difficult time not helping, and sometimes that hurts me. Mm-hmm. Ultimately, sometimes that ends up hurting me. So I try to, work on setting some boundaries with that kind of thing. But ultimately, it's what brings me joy at the same time. So, you know how that goes.
Yeah. So what's your parenting life like now? How's your relationship with your boy?
It's amazing. It's great. I just came back from visiting him for Christmas. I try to make it back at least 3 days out of the month right now. But it's great. My relationship with his mother is great. My son is honor roll student right now. He's doing wonderful. And just things are good, man, and that just brings me so much joy. Obviously sometimes I feel like I want to be back there so I could be in his life on a daily basis. And so it's a very difficult thing that I have to think about because I'm not ready for that. I'm honestly not ready for that. 20 years of running around in that area and all the damage that's been done over there. Yeah, things are better. And it's a different level of respect sometimes, when I'm there. But at the end of the day, I don't think my life holds value there like it does here.
So one of the big things was getting out of that environment.
Yeah.
Why do you think that's so important?
Because, you know, being a product of our environment sometimes is true. You know, I love the reservation. I love the area of Lemoore, you know, for what we got going on there, and for, you know, I appreciate being a member of my tribe. I have a lot of love for the tribe and what they're doing out there. I want to be able to give back and help in ways that I can, but at this time right now, my life doesn't hold enough value there. You know, I got my son there, I got my family there, but outside of that, you know, I need more support. You know, I need the kind of support that I have out here. You know, it's just there's more life out here for me than there is out there, which is hard to say, obviously, with my son being there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, looking into maybe getting my own apartment, my own place out here, and you know, as long as I'm continuing to do well, you know, it's not a problem having my son come out here. And so I think that's what we're shooting for. But for right now, I just got to continue staying this course and continue building my foundation with the Lord and with recovery and with people in recovery. And, you know, we take it from there. Yeah,
you shared that growing up in Lemoore, that you love it there, but there's not as much support as you're wanting. Do you feel a calling at all to be able to maybe help something up to stop that gap of where you find yourself in that type of environment?
Absolutely, I always have. I always have, you know. You know, it's man, that was a big thing on my mind all the time when I was getting clean out here. Some things are just a little more difficult to do at the end of the day. I mean, change can start with one person. It can start with a handful of people. Change is necessary there in a lot of places. But it's one of the things that's going to take time. Yeah. You know, it's going to take time. You know, reservations, unfortunately, you know, have a tendency to, things are a little more socially acceptable sometimes. And that's just kind of something we'd like to change. But like I said, it's something that takes time. And they're working on it. You know, we got some good people out there, Ramon and some other guys that are working on some things out there. And so, you know, hopefully things will get turned around.
That's awesome. So one of the main reasons why we want to get sober is to actually enjoy life and to have fun and to live in a completely different way. So what are some things that now you're finding yourself actually attracted to and doing for fun?
Oh, I love to cook. I love cooking, you know what I'm saying? I like to read. I like to hit meetings with my guys in the house. You know, movies, stuff like that, things that I lost interest in. Obviously going home to see my family, you know, that's a big deal for me. And honestly, pushing 40 years old, just relaxing, man. Just relaxing and watching some sports or chilling out at the house, you know. Knowing that I did the right thing today, knowing that I'm sober, knowing that I'm, you know, helping others, you know, that's the ultimate reward for being in sobriety. You know, just being able to look yourself in the mirror and know that you did good today, you know, and you were of service and you helped in ways that you could, and you know, you gave advice to those that needed it and whatever, you know. Yeah. Just relaxing, man. Just relaxing and knowing that, you know, you're going to work tomorrow and you have a job and your family's happy and they can sleep at night and your son is doing well, you know. That's the gifts of the program, you know.
That's awesome. So what's the future look like for you?
The future. I try not to think too far into the future. It's like I try not to think too much about the past, but I know that my future involves just continuing to be of service and to help people. I mean, I like to think bigger sometimes. I like to think about completing some barber school and open up a little barber shop, you know, with some nice TVs in there and some nice conversations, stuff like that. But ultimately, I want to help people in recovery, and I don't think that will ever change. We will always have a problem with addiction. People will always struggle. People will always feel like there's no way out. People will always feel like, you know, not living is a better option. You know, people always feel alone, you know. And that's not a good feeling, you know, for anybody, you know. So, I mean, the biggest joy in life is being able to help people, you know. It always has been for me. So I can't really see myself ever not doing something in the area of recovery, you know. And most importantly, I need to remain sober myself. You know, I need to continue to work on, you know, doing the things that I need to do to strengthen my recovery and my foundation. But you know, who knows?
So you've mentioned actually several times of helping people, service work. Why do you think that's such a huge part of your program in living a fulfilling life?
I mean, because it gets you out of yourself, you know, it gets you out of your own way, you know. It allows you to not focus on some things that, you know, maybe going on in your life, and just being of service is just a rewarding feeling, you know. It's important, you know. People are going through things on a daily basis, even if it's just a short conversation with, you know, some old man who's 75 and been alone all his life, you know. You know, just talk to him for a minute, you know, and that makes his day. Somebody who's, you know, just battling whatever, you know. I mean, this is a crazy world we live in today. It's just sometimes it's a nightmare, you know. So I mean, it's important to realize that everybody's always going through something, and do your best to just keep a smile on your face and help people, you know, and just offer some words of encouragement and motivation, you know. I mean, for me to be 40 years old, well, turning 40 next year, and for me to be pushing 40 and only where I'm at in this life, I mean, lets me know how difficult it truly is, because I felt like, you know, I would have got myself together like a long time ago. I felt like I'd be at a different point in my life, but I'm happy with where I'm at. I often tell my family, you know, I wouldn't change a thing, you know. I wouldn't change a thing in my life, and sometimes I wonder if I'm fooling myself when I say that. But
well, with everything that happened in your past, did you think you'd still be alive at this point?
No, I didn't. I know I wanted to be. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like I said, if it wasn't for my son and my dad always being there for me in this life, maybe I wouldn't be here, you know. But I knew I had an obligation to him to get my life together, and I always wanted more for myself. I always expected more. Like I said, I was raised a different type of way. I tried things when I was young, and those things took a hold of me in ways that I would have never imagined, you know. And then time passes, and before you know it, here you are. But that's the beautiful thing about this life, you know. Here I am, but I'm happy, I'm hopeful, and I'm hungry for life and for recovery and for helping people. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, and what I'm getting from this is really there's a few key aspects that help change the entire game. First and foremost, you mentioned a relationship with your Creator, with really each day living for a God, something bigger than yourself. Number two, you talked about getting in an environment where it didn't keep pulling you back.
Right.
So that's huge. And one of the reasons why I wanted to see if you'd be interested in sharing your story and talking about this is because over 5 years ago, almost 6 years ago, I remember you coming through here and saying, I want to work here someday. And seeing your journey and why I think you're able to really help in such a deep and impactful way of clients coming through here now is because you were one of the clients that so many people kind of gave up on. And to see you, like I'd say kind of like biblical term, the prodigal son, it's kind of like to see you return and actually do it and to become a complete different person. And now of truly giving it back and reaching people at a level that most others can't. I think it's a gift that you've actually accumulated and worked on, and I'm stoked you're here, man.
I appreciate it, man. I'm very blessed and grateful to be here too. I think about Brad, therapist Brad, and he's had a huge impact in my life. I mean, many people have here, obviously.
How so?
I just always felt so engaged with Brad. You know, I always felt like he was just telling me the things I needed to hear, and just so honest, and always so, you know, open and just willing to, you know, listen to what I have to say. And you know, just I don't know, just something about Brad, man. He's always been my guy. That's my buddy, man. And I love Brad. He's huge for this place, you know. Yeah. And but many people have been, you know, not to single out one person. You know, I remember a conversation we had a while back, just about, you know, not resisting things in life and just, you know, and that helped me out a lot of times when I'd be back home. Just letting things go, you know, and just moving forward. And anyways, yeah, man, I'm thrilled to be on the staff here. It's almost surreal to me. You know, I talk to my mom. I'm just like, you know, I'm cooking for the clients. I'm taking to a meeting. And, you know, charting for this group. It's like, you know, I couldn't ask for a better position to be in life right now. With my sobriety, with working here, with where I at with my son and his mother. So I mean, I appreciate Pacific Shores and you guys for always allowing me to come back, for always allowing me room to grow, and you know, all the outings, all the ways you know, you're just able to trust again. The love and support this place offers allows you to learn how to trust and connect with people, because that was something I needed to learn how to do again. You know, so I appreciate you in this place, man. It always holds a special place in my heart. So it's easy to work here with a smile and do anything I can, you know.
You got it, man. Well, thank you for sharing. Thank you for being so open and talking about your life and experience and what you're doing now and your relationship with your kid. It has been an awesome journey to see just unfold over the last 5 years, 6 years.
Yeah, man. I appreciate it. Appreciate you.
It, man.
All right.
Thank you for listening. We're so glad you're here, and we hope that you found this episode helpful. We're going to ask that you leave us a review if you found this helpful, because what it does is it helps other people find this valuable resource to hear these inspirational stories in order to grow. Now, once you leave the review, I'm going to ask that you take a screenshot and then send me the email. And you can send it to Mark, M-A-R-K, at pacificshoresrecovery.com. And what I'm going to do is every single month, we're going to pick one winner, and we are going to offer a free one-on-one breakthrough session, either virtually in here, or if you're in person, would love to meet you with me. That will help see where you're stuck, where you want to go, and to help create this bridge to help get you there. So thank you again for listening. Want to make sure that this continues to be highly valuable time. Please leave us a review, and love to see you in our raffle for the one-on-one breakthrough session.